Hey guys, you're listening to Vaul, and I've got my buddy Fonger here. We're into game 2 of NonY versus Brat OK. Just gonna start the game now in the chat lobby. Alright, so Brat OK actually took out the first game on Longinus. He played quite aggressively against NonY, but now we're on Bluestorm, so very different map to Longinus. Alright, so Brat has spawned as the blue Terran down the bottom left, and NonY is the teal Protoss at the top right. Playing Terran on this map, I actually really prefer the bottom left location because you can actually block off your choke with a single supply depot and barracks and not let any probes through. But if you get the top right, you actually need 2 supply depots and a barracks by actually putting the barracks exactly to the right side of the choke to get that done. The other thing too to mention about this map is it's quite cheesy. I just listening to the TSL and watching a lot of games. Players often cheese on this map and in games outside of the TSL as well. So there's that there's that to think of. Fonger's just got back from having dinner, so here he is now. Fonger, give me your thoughts on this matchup, on this map.
TVP on Bluestorm. I think Terran can take some liberties early game because of the fact that it's difficult with the chokes there and all, 2 chokes, for Protoss to get any kind of real good early goon pressure on. So it seems quite popular to just go maybe 4 Marines or so, and a tank and expand then. I guess FD isn't such a great option on this map because it is a long way to their base. But it'll be interesting to see how Brat plays this out. He's getting his anti-zealot build ready again with 2 places where his Marines can go past, but zealots can't follow.
Yeah. What does SCV there too? He actually scouted to the extreme right of his base because it's so often that, well, it's so annoying, I should say, when Protoss players just get that early double gate inside your own base, even when you've just walled in and suddenly zealots appear out of nowhere. It's awful. But yeah, just once again, Brat prefers this build over the wall, and he did this last game, and he's doing this again. Yeah, I agree with what you said about the FD Terran, because the Marines can move through the miniature choke next to your natural, but the tank can't. So if you want to move out with Marines and with a tank and support, you've got to go all the way around. And by the time you get there, generally the Protoss player's got a whole bunch of goons waiting for you, and you're pretty much stopped in your tracks. So we'll see how this works out. But go ahead.
Yeah. Also with FD, you've got to go up 4 ramps to get to their base, and goons could be waiting on any one of those ramps, so it's not really worth it early game.
Right. Both players with scouting workers in their opponent's base at this point. I've got to say that the build orders for this game look exactly identical to what they were last game. So the only variable we're going to see is the map, just the whole environment. Again, Brad has taken off 2 SCVs from his gas. He's probably going to be putting a second one on shortly. But yeah, it just looks to be again a case of Marine push fall into factory. Although having said that, he's not building any more Marines. He's only got 2, and this is possibly because he's scouted NonY, and he's seen that NonY's not really going for a second gate straight away. He's still got the SCV in NonY space. Finally, Dragoon arrives to take it out. We've got a probe up the top of the map. Is there any reason for that probe hanging out there, do you reckon? Do you see it at the 12 o'clock?
He might be just scouting a possible proxy factory or something like that from...
yeah, that could be it. He's perhaps a bit worried that a factory might be being built and just landing there. And in fact, I think that's a pretty safe bet as to what he was looking to do there. And fair enough too. It's a decent strategy for a Terran player to pull. Now we've got likewise Brat sending an SUV out down the left-hand side of the map, just up to the top left, just to scout for any proxies, and both players are just really scared at this point that they're going to be proxied, which is quite entertaining. So we're not going to see any proxies from either of them, and it could turn out to be a bit more of a drawn-out game, depending on what happens in the mid-game. Brat still hasn't done anything about a command center, but he's again going for the tank, and a vulture upgrade followed by a single vulture, so maybe he is going to go for the slow push out, but NonY's going for the fast nexus, so there you go.
There it is, yeah. Quite interesting actually, in the TSL qualifiers we've seen so many players actually go for very aggressive or type strategies, and yeah, it's quite interesting to notice the difference in games where there is in fact money on the line, see how players play differently.
Yeah, just to remind people, we're actually in the winners match of Group F, and if the person that wins this game basically gets $100 straight up for getting into the round of 16. It's $5,000 for winning the entire tournament, but basically just the winner. If Brett wins this game, that's $100 straight into his bank account, and if Noni wins the next 2 games, he gets it. So yeah, both players are interested in winning. Funny story, actually, before the game gets too underway. In fact, I'll just cast this and I'll tell you the story. We've got Noni's 2 Dragoons just being caught out in the open by, again, the SCV rush. I mean, this is exactly what happened previous game, but luckily Noni has actually shot down that Vulture, so he's not going to be contained by Vultures this time. So looks like Noni's going to have a better time of it. His Dragoon micro is actually pretty good right here. He's getting a lot of hits and he's not taking that many. His Dragoons have only lost their shields, so they haven't been significantly damaged in terms of their actual their body integrity. An expansion going down is coming in after Brat, so this is actually shaping up to be just like their first game, but with Noni not being pressured as badly. Just go back to my story I was going to tell people. Driven showed up for his group late and he lost the first game, and people were talking to him about it, and he didn't actually even realize that there was money on the line for actually winning the entire group. So it's just a bit funny. That guy is actually a really interesting player. He won DreamHack last year. I've recently casted his games against Advocate. But he seems like a really laid-back kind of guy, and I guess I was talking to Artosis about this the other day, and Artosis mentioned that when you've got a really relaxed attitude to StarCraft, often you play well under pressure because it often doesn't matter too well. And again, Noni going for the Reavers, a late Reaver. It's like deja vu. What do you think of that?
I think it's Noni. What else is there to say?
Yeah.
Look
at those vaults.
Cover his third base.
Look at those vaults. Like, Brett just distracted Noni's group of Dragoons, and meanwhile he's got 3 vaults into Noni's base. He's seen the Reavers again. So, oh my god. Good play by Brett. I've really got to take my hat off to Brett right now because he seems to be playing really well. He's managed to. He's in full control of. Well, he's not in full control, but he's in full awareness of what Noni is doing, and he's managing to hide some aspects of his own play from Noni. He's getting a missile turret up behind his natural line. He's got a turret up at his main. He's got an engineering bay lifted off to move around and probably scout over the cliff. But Noni nearly ready to move his Reaver out. So yeah, let's see whether the same thing happens all over again.
Interesting to note with Brat's play here, he's actually gone for Vulture speed before Siege, and that's really good, I think, because it can help against the early third Nexus that presumably he was expecting, but he also managed to do damage even when there was no quick third base. But yeah, he was really confident in being able to survive any kind of attack and still do damage with those quick speed Vultures.
Yeah, quite right. And just yet another thing that this game has in common with the previous one is that no third Nexus from Noni. But Noni has actually dropped a Reaver there and shot that tank